Welcome students of Form 2, 3 actually. Welcome students of Form 3B of the Sky Pre-Universitario working according to the CSEC system. In this video, in this first video actually, part of 3, we're going to talk about paragraph 3, chapter 2. So take this paragraph in front of you if you haven't done so yet. And we're talking about institutions. And this word has multiple meanings. So we'll talk about the multiple meanings of institutions. And this paragraph is closely related to the concept of norms. Norms and institutions, they have a very close relationship together. Again, if you didn't subscribe yet, do that below. And at the end of this video, if you want to ask questions, also do that below. We're talking about the concept in sociology and social studies of institutions. The learning outcomes. The learning outcomes are as follows. At the end of this topic, you will be able to, so what must you be able to do when we're done with this paragraph? Define and use terms in relation to various institutions. So the terms that are important like norms and folkways and behavior and sanctions. Don't forget sanctions. You have to be able to define them, like explain them in a very concise way, and able to apply and use them. And you have to be able to outline the characteristics of each type of institution. Yes? So at the end of this paragraph and these 3 videos, you have to be able to do those things that you see there. If you cannot, dig very deep in the book, practice with the exam question at the end. Google the words, but make sure you're able to understand the very characteristics of an institution and also be able to apply them and define them. Because this will be like very important questions and topics during the test. Then, the word institution. The word institution has 2 meanings, and they're very distinct. It means that they're clearly different, and you can distinguish those 2 meanings from each other. They are separable. You can separate them from each other. In one sense, an institution means established, so well-known. People use this custom or pattern. Is widely applied in society of behavior, sometimes called a norm. So an institution is a very well-established norm. In another sense, an institution, let's stay at the first one first, is an established custom or pattern. And established, like I said a second ago, is that it's widely used and applied by people in society. Very important. For instance, marriage is a very established custom or pattern that is invented by people, but it's really an institution. It is expected of you if you have a relationship for a few years that you get married. That's why it's an institution. In another sense, an institution is a formal, like official, specialized organization, such as the church. The church is a very specialized official organization. It pays taxes, you have to pay contribution to the church. Its specialization is worshiping to God and offering moral support in times of need. So that is the church. Formal, specialized organization. And also the FIFA is also a formal specialized organization. It offers trainings for football, well-paid competitions, and it's a very specialized organization. And when talking about institutions, we're not just talking about marriage, we are also talking about the institute of family. Because when you have a long relationship, it is expected that you marry, and after marriage, a lot of people expect from you that you have 2 or more children. This norm is so well established that we can say, that it has become an institution, like you can see here and like you can see here. It is very well established. People expect it from you. That can also be an institution. But the other form is a formal specialized organizations like the church, the FIFA, and many other institutions. Social control. So we'll talk more and more about social control during the 4 sheets that are coming. And I'll try to make it a video of about 12 minutes or slightly more. But back to social control. The norms of society are unwritten rules or standards that are not written down, but people expect them from you to behave accordingly. Tu cante por comportación. Da existe una expectación tocante por comportación de una sociedad that are generally accepted and that regulate behavior. Yeah. So if you don't behave according to what society expects, you will get negative feedback. You will get a penalty. You will get a sanction because of that. In any given situation, they regulate your behavior while sitting in the bus, while sitting in classroom, while sitting with your friends in the school garden about afdakje. Yes, they regulate your behavior. You cannot deny it, but they are unwritten rules, so they are very subtle. Norms are passed on from one generation to the other. So the norms of society are unwritten rules and they regulate your behavior, my behavior in any given situation in your life. And norms are passed on from non-generation, yes, so of the children, of the parents, yeah, mayornan, bowela, ibotawela, imuchenan, they regulate the behavior and they are passed on from one generation, from the parents in mayornan to the children in muchenan, as part of the process of, this is important, socialization. So socialization means that you learn the norms that are the accepted norms in your society. And you learn to feel what is appropriate behavior and you learn to feel what is inappropriate behavior. And socialization, in each country it happens, but the norms that are passed on are slightly different. Yeah, the process of socialization, a very, very important word we have here. They can vary in importance and significance and have some sanctions. Again, such an important word that's also vary in severity. But you will get consequences if you do not obey to certain norms. We continue. So the older generation passes on these norms. They socialize the younger generation, but also institutes like the church, they also pass on norms or kinds of behavior during the sermon of the priest, during prayer, during certain feasts, yeah, like Pascha that's coming now, or Easter, or Good Friday, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. You have all kinds of traditions and that are passed on from one generation to the other, actually. And also school is a very important institute in the socialization of young people. Look how these persons look. Look how these persons communicate. Look at how these persons responsibly work on their school tasks. This is also a part of socialization. And next to the official school rules, there are also a lot of unwritten rules that are used in school. And socialization. Corda bom. And they all have an important role in the socialization of young people. Some norms are known as folkways, which are behaviors that are developed among groups over time. Behaviors that are like folkways include shaking hands when you meet somebody, or doing a box when you meet somebody, pointing at stuff, yeah, or saying thank you when something does something for you. There might be mild sanctions, but not very strict. Disapproval, people liking you less, for individuals who not follow these practices. There might be mild sanctions, so not like going to jail, but you will notice it in society when you not behave according to these sanctions. Other folkways include such events as birthday celebrations, funeral rites, and wedding ceremonies. One folkway in Curaçao is, for instance, the Ocho Dia, probably coming from Africa before being slaves in Curacao. The 8 is the 8 days you receive people and you pay attention to the person that has deceased, and you often do it 8 days. And we also call this the 8 now, the 8. And wedding ceremonies. Other norms are called mores, and mores, these are more serious. So these mores are more serious and are closely associated with enforcing moral values. So mores are more serious and they are closely associated with what we think of as right and wrong, what we think of as correct and incorrect behavior. So they're really about the important values, the moral values in life. Important mores can become institutionalized in church, officially as unwritten rules, but also as very important norms that are the cornerstones of society. So when a more is regarded as very, very important, it can become an institution, a cornerstone of society that people expect from you in certain situations, which may result in them becoming these institutionalized mores, uh, institutionalized, institutionalized, may become subject to laws. Yeah, and an example of such an institution is actually marriage. Marriage is an example again of an institutionalized more that has become a very important norm. Some of them may become a law, an official document which says you cannot do this, or even it can be like an obligation, you have to do it. And violating such more may result in a severe punishment. So some mores have become so important that they become laws and are worked out by our Parliament of Curaçao, also called the Staat. That is where our laws are written. Yeah. So some mores are so important, so serious, they are so institutionalized that they become a part of our law system. This is that we say, okay, these are so important, we have to institutionalize them, and they will become a part of our law system. And not all of them, but some mores that are really moral issues. And violating such a more that has become a law may result in a severe punishment. Yeah. So if you violate